Bonjour, in this video we are going to see a little later the letter T. This T we've got between two words sometimes in French, like in the example here, va-t-il or mange-t-elle. So what is the rule to build this little T? First we call this T le T euphonique in French. Euphonique means that we want to improve the pronunciation, or T analogique. Well, you need two conditions for that. The first is the verb needs to be ending with a vowel, and this vowel is la letter A or la lettre E, and the subject starts with the vowel too. The second condition, we need an inversion. Inversion is first the verb followed with the subject. So let's see now some cases where we have this inversion with this verb and subject in French. Well, you certainly know that we have inversion questions in French. If you want to say, for example, il va, he goes or he is going, and make a question with that, if it's an inversion, you need to put the subject after the verb. But in French, it's not very nice to hear va-il. And actually, nobody speaks like that. So, for this reason, and because we have the letter A here at the end of the verb, and a vowel here, starting our subject, you can add the T euphonique with the two hyphens. So we've got va-t-il, and it's a question, va-t-il, better than va-il. Another example, on va, we go, we are going, so the same thing, the inversion, and here we can hear the letter T, va-t-on, again with the two hyphens, va-t-on, and it's a question, va-t-on, do we go? More examples with different letters. Elle chante, here we've got the letter E. Elle chante, she sings or she is singing. Well, if you want to build an inversion here, we've got chante-t-elle, again with our T euphonique and the two hyphens. Chante-t-elle. Il a dit, the past, he said, so a-t-il dit? Did he say? A-t-il dit? The future, elle viendra, she will come, becomes viendra-t-elle, viendra-t-elle, instead of viendra-elle, which is not very nice, viendra-t-elle. Okay? When the verb ends with a letter, this letter D now, the pronunciation of the liaison is like a T, so you don't need here, in this case, to add an additional T. Let's take this example with the verb to take, prendre in French. Il prend, he takes, he is taking. So if you want to build an inversion, you will have this one. And the pronunciation of the letter D is like a T. So, prend-il. We say prend-il. That's why we don't need to add an additional T analogique, because it is included in the verb. The same thing for elle comprend, she understands. We've got a D at the end of the verb. So we are going to pronounce it like a D to make the liaison. And we've got comprend-elle, comprend-elle. So again, in this case, you don't need to write an additional T. Pay attention now to two verbs. The verb vaincre. Vaincre means to defeat or to beat, and convaincre, to convince. The third form, singular, is il vint. Il vint, there is a C, but we don't pronounce it. So how to build an inversion with this verb? Well, the inversion is vint-il. And in this case, yes, we need to add the T euphonique. Vint-il. The same thing, elle convainc. Again, we don't pronounce the letter C at the end of the verb. And the inversion is convainc-t-elle, again, with the T analogique ou euphonique. Convainc-t-elle. Okay? So pay attention to these two verbs if you need to make a question inversion type. Now, we are going to see, well, it seems a bit rude, this sentence, interpolated clause. It's the second case when we have inversion in French. It's not a question and it's not difficult to understand. It's just for writing, actually. In French writing, we have an inversion after quoting somebody's words. So in a book, for example, you have such a sentence, je suis d'accord, so someone is speaking, or here is singing actually, singing this word, and just after you need an inversion. So, je suis d'accord, I agree, chanta-t-il? He sang. They see here the past. And in this case, in French, you need le T euphonique because there is an inversion and it's not a question. It's what we call interpolated clause. So, je suis d'accord, chanta-t-il. Okay? Let's see now, and not to be confused with the pronoun te. It's just to explain here because it's not part of the T analogique, but it can be a problem. Why? Because before a vowel, te, the pronoun te, which means you, becomes T apostrophe. But in this case, apostrophe and not hyphens. So if you say, for example, va-t'en, as you can see here, we've got first an hyphen, then this apostrophe. Why? Because actually, the meaning is, in French, va-t'en is go you away. We say it this way, go you away. And so, the letter T here is the abbreviation of the pronoun te. It is you in English. It is not le te euphonique. That's why we need in this case the apostrophe. Another example, achète-t-en, buy some for you. So again here, we've got our T apostrophe, because it is not le T euphonique. Again, it is the pronoun you. Buy some for you, achète-t-en. So it may be a confusion, but if you understand the meaning of this T here, apostrophe, you will understand that you need an apostrophe and not a second hyphen. Okay? Well, I hope now everything is clear for you with this little letter T. Alors, c'est fini. Au revoir et bon français!